see, I'm Chris Pirillo, and I wasn't really sure when the stream began because I get a little preview window over here that you can't see. I can see it because I'm sitting in front of the screen, and where I pause the video, I look like I'm very tired, which I am. We are now a few days into Movember, November 6th, and this is the beard I'm working on right there. Oh, right. Feeling good there. Feeling good. Apologies for not being able to do a TLDR on Monday and Tuesday. Came back to an extreme lack of news. Like, the biggest news was that Hasbro announced a whole bunch of new figures that won't be out for another year or so. I do have this one that I need to unbox, and I want to have the Dio. And then just picked up this one as well, the Luke Skywalker exclusive, the Yavin. I have an older version of this one, although the other one is not in good condition. So instead of me, just opening Star Wars stuff, which I'm still gonna do, by the way, be forewarned, I thought I'd throw it back at you. Like, I said I'm bored. Well, I could find something to do to not be bored. But I thought, why don't we just ask me anything? So that way, there are zero complaints. Because if you're complaining, well, this is up to you. You're putting it in your hands, right here, high pitched and everything. Ooh, cool. What's this? Capture top moments. New. Create a highlight video. Oh, okay. Neat. What is that? Where does it get published to though? So I can make. So if there's a highlight, I can do that. Speaking of highlights, today I streamed on Twitch. Did the rest of the playthrough on Dark, DARQ. It's a game that's that was brought to me effectively by Intel partnerships with independent game developers. I do an Intel live stream every Wednesday at 1 p.m. I'm going to be doing even geekier streams, by the way. I have to throw this out there. This is kind of news. And I'm kind of waiting for people to tune in to the broadcast. We've got a couple questions I'd like to get to, or at least one. So I'm going to be doing a broadcast, a live broadcast, possibly initially on Periscope, with another individual who's on my team at Intel Graphics, who's a hardcore geek / nerd, loves hardware, is a gamer and whatnot, but specifically he's a gearhead. I would say gearhead, and that's a nice thing to say. It's a compliment, but either way, we're going to be doing a broadcast, I think, together, answering questions. Or talking back and forth and just seeing what's up. And as soon as I can get a specific time slot for that, either way, more geekier live streams coming from me in an official, unofficial Intel capacity. That would likely be on my Periscope feed through Twitter as well as his. I think we'd be able to simulcast it both ways. First question we have from Space Raptors Infinite. So, who would win, a Gartham or an Indoraptor? Oh, man. I know you'd be thinking the Indoraptor, right? Because it's bigger, newer, but I'm going to give this one to the Gartham. Yeah, I'd be afraid of both, certainly. But the Gartham have a very strong shell. So since they're both pretend, I'm going to pretend that the Gartham shell is impenetrable, which means the Gartham could use its big claws to find the weak spot, right? They could each find the weak spot, but the Gartham would be more nimble than the Indoraptor. Yeah? So I'm saying Indoraptor. I'm also saying bye-bye to the box. See ya! Yes, another Ray. It's nice, it's good. Ray's uniforms and her clothing haven't changed all that much. She's a bit whiter. I left you as Gandalf the Grey. I return as Ray the White. I'm misquoting that, I'm sure. Man, for some reason these Black Series come with their feet like this. Crazy. So that was my answer to that question. The next Xbox, is that a question? There will be one. Yes, guaranteed. I gotta tell you. So, first of all, I was, of course, disclaimer, I work for Intel, specifically Intel Graphics, and I play games now primarily on the PC if it's not mobile, on a phone. Haven't done much with the consoles, but my opinion, I like the idea of subscribing to things. I like the idea that if I were to get an Xbox, not to say that I will, not to say that I won't, but I like the idea that instead of buying it and being strapped to it for that long, I could effectively not rent it, but not even rent to own, just like have it on a subscription. And I know some hardware people freak out over that. I don't. I guess I'm okay with that. So, whatever they're working on, I like that as an idea. I like the idea of subscribing to things, hardware. I've wanted something like that for years. But remember, I'm also the kind of guy who doesn't like cars. Like, I don't want to be strapped with a car. I want the car to exist. Yes, certainly. I'm going to use the car, absolutely. But I'm a leaser. Sorry, I'm positioning Ray. That's what I'm fiddling with right now. So I'm a renter. I'm a leaser, and so I like the fact that Microsoft is investigating that as an option potentially. I don't have their ultimate game Xbox Game Pass either at this stage because that's something that I want. Because I play with everything. Honestly, my personal. I do stuff across the board. I've never been more agnostic than I am today. It's kind of funny, right? I look for good experiences. I know that Jedi's path is probably going to dictate mine. And certainly the more I can expose her to, I think the better off I'm going to be. I was really, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Happy, for the lack of a better word. That's the most appropriate word. Happy to see that she was going through the catalog, the toy catalog that Amazon sent, and she actually picked a few STEM items, which I'm very inclined to get her, especially this holiday season. Santa Claus is very interested in getting Jedi far more STEM things and projects that would encourage STEM thinking more so than fluffy playthings. We do have fluffy playthings, plenty of fluffy playthings, but technology is certainly a part of that. She saw a gadget. It's like some kind of board thing, and they have a Star Wars programmable like a widget I've seen. Star Wars gadgets usually go on sale though pretty quickly, so I'm not inclined to get one of those outright. And plus, I think she's a little too young for that, so I'd like to try to find some age appropriate STEM toys for her. She noticed the crystal growing kit, and that was something I was really happy she picked up on, because that was something I kind of identified as, I think, I bet you anything Jedi would like it. Man, getting rate of balance is proving to be a bit of a hassle. Come on, these Black Series figures, they're awesome looking, amazing sculpts, but the balance is just, so tricky. I'll get it. I know I should not be fiddling. I should not be looking down. I should be talking to you. Okay. See, that's what that question inspired. What? I dropped Ray. Oh, no, I missed my notification. Oh, it's YouTube telling me that I'm live. Okay. Thanks. I wonder if anybody else got a late notification. Will I ever do a family vlog again on YouTube? Asked Colette. Well, it's a fantastic question. Jedi had me vlog her. I didn't post that to the Discord server. You're welcome to join the Discord server. I've posted a few behind the scenes things there in the vlog stream channel. There we go. Ray is like ready for... I may not be able to get everything to balance, but she is ready for battle with this saber. That's a very blue saber. Dude, hang on. She got too many freaking accessories. Ah! Ray! She's got this rucksack thing. And then her staff of Ray. Not the staff of Ra. The staff of Ray. So the answer is, I don't know. But it would likely be driven by Jedi. And I don't know how that's going to go, because during the day I'm working. The weekdays got me busy, and it takes time to do a lot of that stuff. I think if we did, it would probably be not like you remember them at all, more impromptu, not really ones that I think would hold people's attention, because I have no time, no bandwidth, and honestly not a lot of interest to edit the way that I did, because ultimately just we didn't see the, if you will, the return. with the amount of time that we spent on them, I'm not sure it was, at the end of the day, it was worth doing. Glad we have captured those memories, but I just have no time. I literally would have to manufacture time because it took so much to do when I had nothing but time or far more time on my hands, and it took a lot of time. So the answer is absolutely not the way that it used to be. I'd be interested in doing the holiday stuff because that's kind of fun. It's a magical time of year. I just had you balanced, Ray. I thought you were supposed to bring balance to the force, right? It's all about balance. Ow! Oh man. Pull out your pew, your weapon there, and get Dio. Whoop. Oh crap! Did I break Dio? No. What is that? Did I break Dio? There's this little notchy thing. Is that a stand? I think that's a stand. I'm like, no, don't tell me I broke it right out of the package. That'd be horrible. So, I did a couple of, it's to balance Dio. Yeah, it's to balance it. I like Dio. It's pretty cool. Although there's not much of a difference between this Dio and the Galaxy of Adventures Dio. Maybe the Galaxy of Adventures Dio is a little larger. Different. This is a weathered Dio. Different scale too. Theoretically, different scale. 6-inch versus like a 5-inch scale. Huh. Interesting. So now I have a little Dio collection. So yeah, I don't know. I'm inclined to just press hit a Jedi will say, "Hey, Daddy, can you vlog me?" Press a button, have her go, have her do her thing, and then be done with it. Just let her do whatever she wants to do as a vlog. And I don't know what that is, and I don't know if she's old enough, and I'd hate to have her, because she's watched vlogs too from other families, and unfortunately, I will say, sometimes that dictates her behavior. She mirrors what she sees other people do, and I think that kind of stifles creativity to a large degree. But yeah, that's my feeling. So it probably will never happen again the way it used to, but you never know. If it happens, though, you'll probably see more about it posted to the Discord server at live.pirillo.com. Did I type that correctly? Or did I make a typo? I don't know. How to earn $1 million in a month. Get a job that has you earning $1 million in a month? That really wasn't a question, so I can't really respond to it. How big do you think the market is for a chip MacBook? Huh? Cheap MacBook, maybe? I guess. Although I'd be careful about throwing the word around cheap. I'm not big into cheap things. Is there a market for it? Possibly. Is Apple interested? I doubt it. That's typically not been Apple's game from everything that I've seen. Any further thoughts on health and tech? I know that you like the Apple Watch's EKG. Yeah, it was neat, but not worth me being strapped to that and an iPhone. I know I'm alive. I'm good. For now. I understand the value of being mindful of your health. I think your dietary choices can go a long way. I'm vegan. That's certainly gone a long way. Doesn't mean I don't enjoy a good snack. I've got a good hot cocoa here. Well, slightly diluted water-based hot cocoa, and not as hot as it was when I brought it down. But I guess some people are into it. I think a lot of people. This is from what I've seen. They buy the health tech, and it's like buying a gym membership. They feel healthier because they bought it. Okay, that's your thing. You do your thing. But I've had zero thoughts on the matter. I've had zero inclination. I was toying with the idea, but then I was like, I don't want to be strapped to another device. Not just literally strapped to another device, but tethered, and that's the problem that I've had with those wearables. Interesting, though, that Fitbit was acquired by Google. To see where that goes, I don't know. I really don't have too many opinions on the matter because I'm not. It ain't my bag, baby. Your opinion on Apple's AirPods Pro? Well, Jesus, I don't really have an opinion because I don't have them. I didn't have the original AirPods. They look about the same to me. I'm sure they sound different. I'm not an audiophile. I don't like sticking things in my ears in general, and that's gone all the way back to for my first in-ear experiences with headphones. I never liked them. I never liked that feeling. And everything that I've used, oh no, they're comfortable. Oh, they're better. You need the tips. And I'm like, nah, it never worked out for me. So I have no want, need, or desire. Just don't. I mean, I see people wearing them, and I gotta admit, I get kind of judgy when I see people wearing them, and I don't mean in a good way. Like, and that's the case. But I had the same problem with people who wore Bluetooth headsets. Right? I'm always reminded of there's a Saturday Night Live sketch where there Jason Sudeikis? Was that his name? And he had he would be talking on a Bluetooth headset. I just get the same vibes. It's so no. Alan Robertson asks, "Do I like the Pixel 4?" Yeah, I haven't gotten it. God, can this? Here you go. That speaker was loud. So yeah, I like it. I have been enjoying it. I can't wait for more apps to be updated to support the Face ID. That has been a mild frustration of mine. Not enough to drive me back to another device. I don't yet have the November update, although I understand some things might have been addressed. One of the things that I fixed, a shortcoming that I kind of addressed with some workarounds, apparently was undone with the November update. My system is currently up to date and not with a November update, so I'm still waiting for that. Yeah, I mean, I've had problems with the seemingly some audio anomalies with the video recording. I've reported them. Will they get patched? Possibly. But I don't feel any worse. I don't feel the pain with the Pixel nearly as much as I did with the iPhone. That's been my experience with the software. So the Pixel 4 is all about the software, and it'll take 2 or 3 revisions to nail down and to know what the Pixel 4 experience is. Same, and I'd say the same thing really even with the Apple. So Andrew Hayes asks, what would be one tech item that was useful, relevant 10 years ago that you wish was still useful, relevant now? Nothing? Like, that's not how tech works. So technically speaking, all the Hutts are dead, right? Mostly because Jabba's dead, he was dead. Yeah. Well, that's not really a question. I'd imagine there's another. You can always pull another Hutt out of your hat. That's the thing about the Star Wars universe, right? Just pull another one out of your hat. There. So if we need another Hutt, we just pull them out. Colette's watching you're watching the old family vlogs. Wow, that's crazy. Good luck getting through them all. Yeah, I'm bygone era, unfortunately. No. Boba Fett's not back in the Mandalorian. That's not Boba Fett. It's a Mandalorian, yes. Boba Fett, no. At least not that I know of. Yeah, Dennis, I'm not sure if I'm going to keep the beard longer than Movember. It'll start getting nutty for me. I'm like, not my beard doesn't get nutty. I'm just, it's starting to agitate. Sorry, I'm looking again for questions, and unfortunately, I'm probably missing them. So I haven't seen Dark Crystal Age of Resistance yet. Didn't we already talk about it? Yes. What are my thoughts on bacon? I don't eat it anymore. That's the thing about vegans. They can't be a good vegan. You're still eating bacon. Not that I'm striving to be a good vegan. Just it's outside my scope now. Oh, A-chip is an A12 Fusion. Oh, that's what he were asking about at a MacBook. I think anything. Here's how I'd respond to that. Again, I work for Intel, and Intel was one of the reasons. You can go back in the archives and you can hear it. Intel was one of the reasons I switched to the Mac. It was a big reason why I switched to the Mac. I've been an Intel fan since long before I worked there. That said, I'm the kind of I believe, this is me, Chris Pirillo, speaking with my opinion. I believe competition makes the marketplace healthy. That's my feeling about anything and everything, and that's also a perspective that hasn't changed. So the more we have to choose from, the better off we're going to be. And there's not to say there's something for everybody. So I couldn't tell you about the technical specifications. All I know is that if competition is great, and the market, I think, would benefit from more competition. For any market could benefit from more competition. Can you recommend some vegan restaurants in Seattle? You'll be visiting the city next year. Well, Colette, we really don't go out to eat a lot. And not to say that there aren't good vegan options. I would join a couple of Facebook groups. There are some vegan Seattle Facebook groups. And they constantly post stuff in there. Facebook is probably a good resource for that. And I don't know if they're open groups or private groups or what have you, but that'd be my recommendation, because we just don't go out to eat a lot. It's very expensive. Even if we weren't, limiting our choices, if you will. It's terribly expensive to go to restaurants these days. Terribly expensive. So I am like, well, why would we spend $20 when we can spend $2? Like, it's just a intelligent fiscal decision. Will there be a time when Chris Pirillo stops naturally liking new tech? Oh, dude, that ship sailed a decade ago. So long ago. Like, I'm like, oh, look, oh my God, it's technology on a gas pump. Oh, okay. Okay, so Wi-Fi, right? Back when it was new, like, my God, this was a game changer, right? I still remember going to hotel rooms and fighting for dial-up, right? So that was a game changer. I just haven't seen anything close to that. And then, of course, the market, right? There's just so much of it to pay attention to. And I just find, like, I stopped altogether. New tech doesn't impress me. I'm an anomaly. This is my opinion. I'm more of a software guy than a hardware guy. What impresses me is being able to use something and knowing that it's not going to get worse over time or hurt me in any way, shape, or form. And technology doesn't always work that way. Trust me, I save so much money by not buying new tech. So much money. I look at something, I'm like, yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, that's a headache. Like, I don't want to do tech support. I don't. Never in my life have I wanted to do tech support ever. So, like, the less I have in that sense, the happier I am. I got one thing for this, one thing for that, one thing for this. I'm good. I don't need 30,000 things. It always makes me laugh when people buy all the new iPhones. I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, I guess. I don't think they're that collectible, but that's what you want. I don't want all the things. The phones aren't Star Wars figures, people. I don't know how many times I gotta tell you that. Speaking of Star Wars figures, thank you for reminding me. I'm sorry for batting the microphone. Got my Luke Skywalker Yavin to open too. This is, I think, is definitely a resculpt of his face, which is nice to see. Will there be? Oh no, sorry. If Steve Jobs were alive today, would he be happy, satisfied with Apple's progress at this point? In my humble opinion, I don't think he would. It's definitely not Jobs' Apple. That's for sure. But Jobs also told Tim to, lead the company his way. Don't think of what Steve, would do. Think of what Tim would do, right? Which I think is a fair thing to say, because Steve's not around. But yeah, I do not think in any way, shape, or form that Jobs Apple would be, I'm not gonna say better off. I think I would be, I personally would be happier. Me, personally, Chris Pirillo, my opinion, I would be happier, I think, with Steve Jobs compared to Tim Cook. Me, personally. That's my opinion. This is just not a judgment call. I use Apple products all the time. That's not me saying, I don't think I've ever said I've hated any one company necessarily. I use the iPad near daily. So, still, Mac OS, near daily. But just because you're not using all of Apple products doesn't make you hate one company. It just doesn't work that way. Technology just doesn't work that way. Like, we all have our own personal choices. Or it's like, we went to the store tonight. I was running errands with Jedi. And they had at the kiosk they had at the end on the end cap, not a kiosk, but like a table, and they had stuff they were serving up, and she said, "Would you like this, or this?" And Jedi said, "This one." She wanted pumpkin pie. I'm like, "All right." And I said, and she said, "Would you like one?" I was like, "I can't. I'm vegan." She said, "Oh well." I had a woman who was buying. She said she was vegan except for yogurt, and that was her thing. I'm like, "Well, I'm thinking that's not vegan, really. Like as far as food stuff." And then another woman started to pop, kind of chime in, and I kind of cut her off because she was saying what. She was kind of not trying to be argumentative, but I said, "Hey, not my mouth, not my problem." And she said, "Yeah, that's actually a really good way of putting it." I'm like, that's what I'm saying. I don't care. I got no judgment if that's how if that's what she chooses to do. But I just find that by definition, you're not really adhering to it in the strictest sense, at least as far as food stuff is concerned. So, how did I get off on that topic? Not my mouth, not my problem. Not my phone, not my problem. Is that where I was going? I don't know where I was going with that. I don't know how I got off on that topic. So what do you do when you need headphones? I plug them in. Was that a question? That was a question. Did I cry when Luke Skywalker died? Asked Martin Oliveira. I did not. Got a little choked up with Han Solo, but Luke I wasn't as emotional about. I don't know. I didn't cry when Darth Vader died, though, so don't put too much stock in that response. Have I contacted friends from the tech TV world? Every so often they reach out to me. They have a tech support problem, and I'm like, I'm not tech support, man. It's not the thing I want to do ever. Time for the big question. What's your favorite dinosaur? I guess I had I don't know, raptors. Pretty neat. I don't have a favorite dinosaur. I never did. Wasn't really into dinosaurs that way. Wasn't into a lot of the things that I know other kids might have been into. Certainly other boys. What's my opinion regarding globalization, technology, and the environment? Yeah, again, it's like world's getting smaller. Technology complexifies everything, not for what it is, but for what you do with it, okay? And I think that's the stories that I always am fascinated with are how technology is used, not necessarily for what technology is. And I know that's not the thing that you want to ever hear from someone online. You only want to hear, well, tell me about the gadget. How much faster is, what's the benchmarks? What are the specs? Like, okay, I understand how you value those conversations. I personally find them relatively pedestrian because I tend to look at the overarching experience of something, and that includes the impact, right? It's fascinating to me how technology has done really amazing things for us and really amazingly bad things at the same time. Like, it's not a all or nothing. Unfortunately, it's like the baby comes with the bathwater, right? So it's well, that's kind of a take on the you can't throw the baby out with the bathwater. It ain't all amazing. That's all the more reason why it cracks me up when I hear people say tech, yeah. I'm like, really? I guess to me it's an enabler. Not to me personally, it's an enabler, which makes it amazing, right? Like, did I get excited, playing Dark today? Yeah, the PC made it possible for me to play Dark, right? It wasn't the PC that I was like, ah, the PC, ah, oh yeah, video game, ah, PC though, hardware, ah, I don't. I was playing the game. I was having the experience. The hardware made it possible. And that was, to me, I don't think about the hardware. I never do. Rarely. I can't say never. Rarely. And then in terms of the environment, yeah, it's going to have an environmental impact. Everything you do is going to have an environmental impact. Everything. Every single decision you have. And I know there's arguments on all sides, although I think that some arguments are straw men. But I do my best to be as conscious as I can be in terms of technology usage and the environment. I have it's not a hybrid, but it's electric and gas vehicle, although I guess it's classified as electric. I don't think about it much. It gets me from point A to point B. Vegan is actually a big help because, I know, vegans clearing forests for avocado. Okay, yeah. So I guess I don't have the moral, problem of killing an avocado as opposed to killing a living creature that has feelings. And I'm sorry, you cannot tell me after watching videos of animals showing empathy and compassion and connections with other living creatures that they don't have feelings. You could not convince me that animals don't have feelings. Couldn't convince me. I believe they do. Just because they can't vocalize them doesn't mean they don't have them. So technology helped me realize that. I was able to learn a lot. And I'm always watching stuff, and technology makes that possible. I don't think about the phone I'm using. I think about why I'm using it, right? Bringing me closer together with, people I want to be brought closer together to, my fellow Star Wars fans. Those are the people I love connecting with. As far as the environment goes, yeah, recycle all the things. And we compost, too. We're a very rare household. We have trash, recycling, compost. Do I think smartphones have become too expensive? No, Christian, I don't. Space Raptors Infinite. So is this new Mandalorian a former member of Death Watch? That I don't know. It'd be interesting if Death Watch came up, though. I would have loved to have seen Satine and Obi-Wan's arc end differently. I wonder if we're going to get a Satine reference with the Obi-Wan series. That'd be fantastic. Ian Cox asks, I've never used a Mac. If I bought one, would I need to go to tech classes to learn to operate a Mac? I doubt it. I don't know, but you're talking to the wrong guy. Because, to me, I'm more of a software guy. I dive in, right? Like, okay, I can figure this out, right? There's usually a way. You could go to classes, or you could probably figure out 99% of what you need to online. My mom moved from using Windows, by and large, in a corporate environment to a Mac a few years ago. She had some challenges, but she figured it out. She says she actually watches YouTube videos. So there you go. You don't need to go to... If my mom watches YouTube videos to learn how to do something, I think you can too. Do I like the direction Kathleen Kennedy has taken Star Wars? It's difficult for me to answer that question because it's kind of loaded. I'm not a Disney hater. I like that Disney's doing what it's doing with Star Wars. Would I do things differently? Probably. But I'm of the mindset that it's needed to evolve, and it wasn't going to be easy for anybody to handle. I think the Mandalorian is going to be a new era for Star Wars altogether. In live action TV show, overarching, spanning past 2-hour time frame, right? Going deeper and deeper and deeper into this stuff. That they lay out rather than these films that people have been used to, or the cartoons, which have been amazing, but a live action TV series, I think is a game changer for it. Hey, Bowler Forever, good to see you again. I've yet to bowl a perfect 300. I haven't bowled. I think the last time I bowled was probably before the first time we ever met. I just don't bowl all that much. I'm not a bowler forever. So recently saw, I should probably rise. I should raise this so that I'm actually looking closer to the camera. Because I had it down, so I'm looking down, and I don't mean to be looking down. Saw the second Lego movie. Having mixed feelings about the Raptors in that one. It was fine, I thought. Jobs was a software guy. It was the software that made the iPhone, not the hardware. Thank you, Mike. I've been saying that for years. It's the truth. It is the absolute truth. And that's why Steve Jobs' Apple was my Apple. As much as at one point I didn't like it. But the thing that turned my attention to the Mac was Intel. That was the third reason, the big, huge reason why I felt like they were going the right direction. So I needed the hardware, in my estimation, for the software to shine. What do I think is the most overhyped tech or app? Well, in my opinion, smart home crap. Honestly. A lot of it's overhyped. God, not a day goes by when I don't see some crowd-funded doodad widget thing that I'm just like, okay, I guess someone wants it. Not me. A lot of it. I'd say a hefty amount. That's my opinion. Everything's my opinion. I'm laying out. These are just my opinions. What do I think of the Mi Note 10 with its 108 megapixel camera? What do I think? I don't. I've never thought of it. Ever. This is the first time I've ever thought of it, only because I had to actually say the words out loud. That's what I think. I think it's probably a phone with a screen and obviously a camera. If it's a phone, then it probably could make calls. What else? You could probably run apps on it. I think you can run apps on it. I think it's probably notier than the 9, and certainly the Note 11 will be one more than the 10. I also think that it has probably, because I have never seen one, never heard of one, it probably also has the ability to adjust the volume. So I think it has the ability to adjust the volume up and down, which is a nice thing to have. Certainly I assume it's a phone. I don't know. Maybe it isn't. Maybe Note. Maybe this Mi Note 10 is something else. Is it a car? No, it's got a camera. Well, cars have cameras. I'm guessing though that the icons. Does it have icons? I think it would probably have icons to be useful. Quite frankly, if it's this and it doesn't have icons, I'd be really concerned about that. But I don't think about it. I never do. Never will. I promise you, I will never think about it again. Don't go all PETA on us. PETA. PETA's a little on the extreme end. Mandalorian's going to be epic. I concur. Thoughts on iOS 13.2 horrible RAM management? Well, some people have been saying it's been horrible for years. So people are pointing this out now because it's tricky. I'm not gonna hold Apple. I'll hold Apple accountable for making a good experience, but it's tricky. It's challenging. They're continuing to tweak it. I don't know. I didn't have problems with RAM management on as much as other people did on the Pixel 3. So you're asking the wrong guy. I just don't think about it. Do I have Plex? I do not. What do you think of the software? Well, I think apparently Plex is software of some kind. Plex? That sounds like, does it help you work out? So I think it's possibly software that helps you. No, I think it's short for Cineplex, like a media management. I don't use it, so I don't think about it. Do I see myself ever going back to the Apple iPhone if the iOS ever evolves substantially? I think I've said this in just about every TLDR that I've done recently. So, I hate to sound like a broken record, which of course I'm going to do anyway because people ask the same questions like this. Yes is the answer to that. I've never said never. Ever. I would never say I'm done forever. No, there's certain things that have to happen, including the software getting its act straight. Part of it now is having a higher refresh rate on the screen as well. Just like I'm able to use the iPad because of a higher refresh rate. That's what makes it usable. If you can't have anything beyond 60 frames per second on iOS, it's just not a good. In my experience, it's not a good experience. And that's only broadened. I'm on an Intel PC here, pushing 120 frames per second on these screens, these big, wonderful screens. Going back to 60 is horrible, in my opinion, my experience, man. Once you go 90 or higher, it's impossible to go back. And plus, they've got to get rid of this abomination that is known as what do they call it? The cutout display or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. They just got to get their heads screwed on straight, in my humble opinion, when it comes to software and executing on it and making a clean, cohesive experience. And all the commentary I see in social, people are like, I'm not the one who's slagging Apple for this. like a lot of diehard Apple people are, like, or the ones who really are diehard people should be. Like, if you should expect a good experience, and I don't see it. I don't see it. And Apple's gone the other direction. They're preaching to me on specs. I'm like, you're not gonna win me over with specs. That's like part of the story maybe, but ain't everything. That's for sure. So yes, I do. But it's not just the operating system. It's Apple's approach to software and services at that, right? I don't know if I see that happening within the next 2 years. You know, and every year that goes by, I'll push it out 2 more years, because that's Apple's decision what they want to do. I mean, and it's my decision how I'm going to react to that decision that they make. JSal 1993 is funny. Thank you for the super chat. How important is the 90 hertz screen to you? Pardon me. I've been congested ever since the flight on Monday. Very incredibly. Like, even when I was talking with my colleague Ashraf, who I'm going to be doing those tech streams with at some point in the near future, he picked it up. He never actually touched a 90 hertz phone, I guess, because he was on an iPhone 11, I think, and he picked it up. And I said, "Here, just play with it." And he swiped, and he only needed to like scroll a little bit, and he's like, "Oh," I'm like, "I know, dude." What? And he says, "Yeah, because I push such a high frame rate on my PC." I'm like, "I know, you don't have to convince me." It's a big deal. It's a huge deal. I feel that it's going to be a killer feature. I've said that for a while now. A higher refresh rate. I think it will make or break. I think that was the deciding factor for the iPad for me. That ProMotion display. I mean, it made it far more responsive. Animation issues certainly were there, but that has steadily somewhat improved with iPad OS. I'd like to see the same thing on the iPhone, but even then, that's not enough. Doesn't go far enough. Then I don't want to deal with a cutout, a notch. I just don't ever. It's just not something that I'm interested in. So there are more things. To me, a deciding factor of a phone isn't what it has, it's what it doesn't have, which I realize is kind of like counterintuitive, right, to a lot of things that you get shoved in your face from the reviewers who all sound the same. It's more about what the phone doesn't have. It's more about the pain I can avoid, right? But that's the same thing with any technology, whether it's a phone, a monitor, a microphone. Like, what's going to provide the experience that I'm looking for? Do I think Mark Zuckerberg and Facebook have a responsibility to remove political ads that lie, fake news? Yeah, I do. And this is my, again, I put disclosures and disclaimers. Everything I share is my opinion. It's not the opinion of my employer. It's not the opinion of my wife. It's not the opinion of my child. It's nobody's opinion but mine, okay? So, yeah, I think they do have a responsibility. I do. And I think they ducked it and they dodged it. And I understand they make money this way, but there comes a point where you need to take on and understand your position in this ecosystem and take on that responsibility. And Facebook is horrible, in my humble opinion, at fueling the fire, especially with things that they know they could tamp down on and or verify whether or not something is valid. I mean, you can't stop every meme from floating around, right? But there's certainly a way to when something is brought up as, hey, this is misinformation, Facebook is culpable. And the fact that they've got money on the line makes them even more culpable, right? In terms of, and this isn't a matter of opinion. This isn't, in terms of like, I disagree with your opinion, therefore it's fake news. It's opinion and or dark money that's masquerading as flat fact, with something that is definitively just incorrect. Not a truth, a fact, right? And so, cheese and crackers. Yeah, I get it. Yahoo Groups is dying. That was like last week's news, dude. Yeah, Yahoo Groups dead. The old internet gone. Now it's just people complaining on Twitter. That's how the internet is anymore. And blowhards prattling on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So, anyway, yeah, it agitates me. I'm like, really? Like, if you can, I don't care if someone has spent money on it. If it's promoting an absolute, like, irrefutable lie or twists facts, media companies were never held responsible for that. And that upsets me too. So this isn't just a Facebook problem. This is also a media problem. And again, Chris Pirillo hat. This is Chris Pirillo sitting here. I have to remind people my opinion, okay? But this is, it just says so much. It says so much to see a demonstrably wrong thing happening with a clear agenda and not doing anything about it. Like, that's just, it's agitating. Okay, let me give you experience, okay? So I was on a plane. We basically had a meeting this week. I met with my team. So that's why I couldn't do TLDR Monday, Tuesday. So I flew down to California, and on the way back home late last night, like 8 o'clock, we sat at the gate for like an hour, I swear. Everything was delayed in California, back home to Seattle. I'll get to that. So I sit down, I'm in window seat. That's my, so I'm sitting there, got my headphones on, starting my crossword puzzle. That's usually what I do to pass the time. I'm on my crossword puzzle, doing the thing, and I hear kind of like someone like every once in a while kind of piping up like a seat over. So I'm in seat A. This individual would have been in seat D. So I'm in the window seat. He's in the aisle seat across the aisle from my triad, right? It was me, empty seat, person. The individual I'm going to be talking about was sitting across the aisle. And I kind of hear some outbursts, and then I'm like, wow, I looked over, and he seemed to have a behavioral issue. Like, he wasn't quite in control of his own faculties. And I'm like, okay, well, that's kind of weird, but I'm like, maybe this is just, he's just not, maybe this is just him, right? And so I didn't think anything of it, and I thought, well, maybe the people sitting next to him were his mom and dad, because they seemed to be about the same age. But the more that went on, the more I realized that the senior couple next to him were not connected with him at all. And he was being kind of raucous, like really loud, and then I could hear him, he was on the phone. I was ignoring a lot of this, because I was just like, okay, whatever. But then, like, he was kind of getting louder, and so I put, I moved my headphones back, and I could hear him talking, and I couldn't tell. Initially he was speaking Spanish, but then went back to English. He was talking to his mom, apparently. And he says, yeah, no, it's just been a long day. Yeah, I'm doing okay. I'll be fine. And again, didn't think anything. And he started crying. I'm like, trust me, I'm getting somewhere with this, right? So, like, he was being disruptive. He was being loud, and this guy's crying. So then the guy who's, the middle seat was empty, but the guy that was in my triad, he got up and moved. Like, the plane door was shut. We were still, the gate hadn't moved for like a half hour. He moved. He moved to another empty seat because he did not want to be around this for this flight. I don't blame him, right? But that made it even more like of an issue where he was crying. He was just like, I'm like, man, this poor guy. I'm like, this poor guy. Trust me, there's a reason I'm telling a story in the context of social responsibility. So, and immediately I started thinking, man, this guy, I don't know anything about this guy. He's disruptive. He's been loud. He's depressed seemingly. And what if he's suicidal? Like, is this going to be a problem on this flight? We're a few seats away from the exit row. And I'm like, well, I'm like, let me see if I can get ahead of it. He doesn't seem to be a threat, but I don't know. I'm like, all right. So he was crying. I thought I felt he was mentally not all. He wasn't present, and it was obvious. I didn't know if that was a behavioral, more of a mental illness type of thing, or something else. But it seemed very clear to me that no one else was really wanting to pay attention to what was going on. So I reached into my, vest, pulled out a couple tissues. He's crying. Wiped his wiped his eyes and everything, and I was still sitting in the window seat, and he kind of turned around and he kind of looked at me. He says, basically said thank you in his own way. I said, yeah, not a problem. And I was just trying to be friendly. I'm like, are you doing okay? Right? Like, I'm thinking, do I need to just engage this guy so that he doesn't do something harsh? Because what I'm saying is, he was like rocking back and forth and like, rah, screaming, like outbursts. And that's where I was thinking that maybe he wasn't quite present, like all the way there. So I moved over, to the aisle seat, and I said, what's going on? And he says, he didn't really get too deep into it because he was, his speech was disconnected. And again, I wasn't even thinking that it could be anything else. I felt it was him. So he wanted my phone number. I'm like, I don't think so. I said, I'm not on social media. I don't believe in it. Like, I don't use it. It's not my thing. Technology scares me, Like, I told him, I was like, I don't know this guy from Adam, right? But I just wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to turn into something more. So, sat there, buckle up in the aisle seat, and sat next to him, and he said, tried to, ask him common questions like, are you flying home? Are you from California? And all these questions. So we take off, and I'm trying to engage him again, not being a person who talks to people on planes at all. I'm like, headphones on, facing the phone, leave me the hell alone. Like, this is me. I don't want to be, if they come around for drinks, don't want any. Give me the cookies. I'll take them home to Jedi. So we take off, and immediately he passes out. And I was like, he passed out. Like, was he hyperventilating? And he kind of came to again, and he passed out again. And I'm thinking, oh my God, he's drunk. Like, I was like, okay, so is this going to be a problem, right? But yeah, he was loud, raucous, a potential problem, and a potential threat that I felt could be mitigated by engaging in a safe way, as safe as anything, such that I could potentially stay ahead of a problem. Either way, he passed out. I'm like, ding dong, we're still, and they did the boom boom, at the 10,000 feet, and that's when I hit the button for the attendant. She came up to me. I was trying to give her the whole story, and I said, well, I think he's drunk. Like, that was my assessment, because he was basically passed out after being very, very, so he was like flopping over into the aisle, like he was like passed out, or borderline passing out. She picked him up and moved him to the seat. Thank God there was room. Moved him to a row that was completely empty and ahead of them, and everyone else was kind of carrying on like this was normal, right? And I'm thinking, well, this is not. I mean, it's normal, I guess, but it's not. And so it's like, okay, well, he's being taken care of. She said, the attendant, they said, well, thank you. We wouldn't have known otherwise. I'm like, in my head, I'm just thinking, what if that was a problem? What if he was left to his own devices, if you will, and, realizing he was drunk? What if he just totally going for the door? I mean, I don't want to be in that situation. And if I can stay ahead of it, I'm like, okay, this is my time. Do I ignore it like everybody else, or do I, at least try to make it so that we can stay ahead of the problem? So ultimately, it was really funny. She came back. She said, "Are you, where are you sitting?" Oh, my seat was over there. I just moved over here. They have a thing, I guess. She said, "Well, thank you for letting us aware. Would you like 1,000 miles or $25 off your next flight?" I'm like, I don't need anything. It's fine. She's like, no. I want to give you. It's a good Samaritan thing. I never been in any kind of situation. I'm like, I guess I'll take 1,000 miles, which I'll never use, right? So, anyway, well, maybe I'll use them on an upgrade at some point. But either way, she was appreciative of that. And where I'm coming back to this Facebook situation is that imagine a situation where no one paid attention to him, and then by the time something was going on, it was too late. Like, imagine that. No one was aware of what was happening, and he was still drunk or disorderly, or had something else going on that, he got up and you thought he was going to the bathroom, and as he's walking up, he just jumps over everybody else and lunges for the door and tries to open it. I mean, I got to tell you, that was a thought. Did it happen? No. Could it have happened? Absolutely. I mean, those things have happened on flights. So I took the, risk, kind of by exposing myself, but I felt it was calculated. And no one else was doing it. But I felt it was my responsibility to at least be aware of the situation, gather a bit of knowledge, so that if I saw him getting up, I'm not joking, I'd tail him. I would have been on him, because I don't know what he's gonna do. I don't know where he's gonna do it, right? And he didn't get up. He was passed out. But without making anybody else aware, before I could make him aware, I felt it was my responsibility for one person on a plane who could have endangered himself or certainly the lives of others around him. Me, personally, right? I'm not saying... This is not Chris saying, oh, you think you're some kind of hero? No! I'm just saying, I saw a situation, and I tried to stay ahead of it. It's far easier to prevent a situation from happening than it is to clean up a situation after it's happened. And that's what I'm saying with Facebook. There's a line that just, they don't see themselves, and I understand because of regulation, they don't see themselves as a media company. They are. My humble opinion. And they have far more influence, and they don't want to say they do, because, deregulation and monopoly, right? You don't want to, we don't have that much power. Yeah, you do, dude. Yeah, you do. I cannot tell you how many times I've had to go in to simple, I love my dad, bless his heart, but even my brother Adam will jump in and say, Dad, this is not real. That's whatever you're sharing is not, that's fake. It's not, but people will share it. And that, when you share something that is ostensibly false, demonstrably false, you're fueling the fire, and you're spreading that meme, if you will, this virus of the mind, that much further. So if you don't take responsibility for that, you're complicit. You are complicit. If you have a chance to say, flip a switch one way or another, and you don't take it, and society has to pay the price, that agitates me. So I think that they have a deeper responsibility than they want to own up to. And I'm not saying it's all or nothing. I'm not saying that Jack's current decision of banning all political ads is the right way to go, because there are certain messages that do deserve to get out. If you're talking about the truth, fine. If you're progressing an agenda and being transparent about it, and not spreading fake news, if you will, to pass an agenda or to push an agenda, I'm okay. If you're pushing flat fact, or even if you're presenting facts as you see them, to be clear, as long as they are true, factual, rooted in fact, versus, no, actually, that's not true at all. But that's not just Facebook. It's not just Twitter. It's any company that has advertising or that supports advertising or pushes advertising. They have a responsibility. I think more so now in the interconnectedness of this society than before. See, like I said, that stuff I'd rather talk about. That's an interesting topic. The phone, not a thing. What do I think about Apple addressing the homelessness crisis? There's a lot of crises to address. I'm glad Apple's doing that, given the situation in the Bay Area and specifically California. I think it's very it's a very good way of bringing something back to society. They could have picked anything. I'm sure there are plenty of worthy causes, for them to support. But yeah, I think I don't have a problem with it. I don't think anybody would, really. All right, Bowler says, if you had the ability to go back to live streaming like in the Ustream days, would you not want a chance to do all? I don't know, dude. I think it was a period of a time. Everyone's live streaming now, so it's not interesting anymore. I mean, it is, yes, but like, I don't know. Yeah, that time is come and gone. I'll like do these. Oh, I guess I've been chatting for an hour. I thought it was. Man, I really went off on a tangent, didn't I? But there was a point. I did make that point. Ian Cox. What does locker gnome mean? I don't know. It's just an old high school nickname. Kevin Gorge remembers very well. He says, "Don't forget it was the weather app on the original iPhone that won you over. Maybe one day they'll revamp it and win you over again." Kevin, you remember me so well. And by the way, Andy Lindsay, thank you for the 1-up sticker. I love those little stickers. Those are pretty cute. You got both Andy for the sticker and JSal 1993. You should have gotten mentioned on my Twitter account automatically. Let's see here. Do I do tech questions? Was that a question? I answered a tech question. Facebook is tech. That was tech. That was a tech question. If you're going to ask my New Year's resolution, I'm going to tell you, like I have every year, 1024 by 768. Can't take credit for that joke. That's Weird Al Yankovic. Social media giants are already censoring conservative viewpoints. No, they're not. You want them to have more censorship? They're not. That's fake news, dude. Ryan, I hate to tell you, they're not censoring conservative viewpoints at all. They're let's not get into this whole fake news battle, but just because there are two sides don't mean both sides are equal. That's my humble opinion. And that's not a slag against conservative viewpoints at all. Oh, Andy also became a geek, a member of the channel. Thank you. You became a basic geek. That's awesome. Kevin Gorge, what are your thoughts on carrier data throttling in 5G? Well, it's their airwaves. I think the more competition we have, the better. 5G, can't wait. More speed, awesome. I'll take it. To me, we'll get past where we are today with bandwidth. I mean, right now we're in the dark ages of the internet. We really, truly are. We do not know how to wrestle with these existential questions, like how it's changed society. Like there's going to come a time where it's just going to be there. And I don't think carriers are going to exist forever. I genuinely don't. Like, I think we'll have like unlimited power. It's not happening within the next decade for sure. But it's their network, man. You're going to do what they want to do. It's like, what am I going to say? No, do I like throttling? No. Who's going to say they like it? Except for the carriers, right? Okay. It's a given. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm looking for questions. I guess I kind of got caught up. What meat do you like on your tacos? Well, the alternative meat, like soy rizo is really amazing. The Impossible stuff is good, or the Beyond Burger stuff. I mean, honestly, when you put all that taco crap in it, no one can tell the difference between beef and non-beef anymore. So yeah, go with the Impossible stuff. That's pretty decent. Do I think Harrison Ford will come back as Han as a ghost in Episode 9? No, that would be really weird. Pixel update coming, thoughts. John, I'm sure a Pixel update is coming. Another one. So I think one will come. I'm not sure if I have any thoughts beyond that. Hey, I'm almost caught up, which means I can start rapping TLDR. When's our next coffee date? Let's record it. Oh, Dennis, we should. Where would we have permission to record? Where that's the problem, is like it's in a public space. You got to find a place that will let you record in public spaces. That's the biggest challenge. So, longtime fan, thank you, Corey. I'm a short time fan of you because I'm not sure if we've met before. So it's a very brief period that I've been a fan of yours for commenting, but I'm a fan now that you've commented. Llama tacos? Oh, Richard. Oh, okay. It might be a little gamey, but hey, ain't my mouth, ain't my opinion. You'll watch Star Wars one day eventually. Oh, Bowler. Oh, you're killing me, dude. You're killing me. Yeah, I know though. It's true. We do need to record. If anything, just audio. Although publishing audio anywhere can be a bit of a challenge. Okay, so you swear you can't believe I remember you after so long. Well, how could I forget? Like, there's certain handles you just don't forget, right? And that was a great period, right? Doing those live streams. So, I can also do this. Could have had that in there. There you go. For everyone who stuck around, you got to be in the video. What age do you start kids watching Star Wars? You have a 3-year-old or 5-year-old? Yes is the answer. We started Jedi out immediately, which was probably a mistake, but yeah, I don't know. Star Wars, honestly, for kids, Galaxy of Adventures is a great way of introducing them to Star Wars. Cartoon, simple, short, fast. Look up Galaxy of Adventures. That might help. I mean, you can't avoid Star Wars in this house, for better or for worse. It's just never going to happen. Well, I appreciate you still watching, Colette. Thank you for the all the support. I'm going to go ahead and wrap. We're definitely over an hour. Don't really have much else I need to do tonight. Just kind of relax after the days of travel. And Airwolf, why do you have to ask me an interesting question? Are you planning to... I wasn't a slag. Are you planning to take Jedi to the new Frozen movie that's coming out this month? Not really planning on it. Like, we're going to get enough on Disney+. Frozen, you just cannot avoid it right now. My God, it's everywhere. Everywhere. The Dark game you mentioned earlier, was it the stealth vampire game? I don't think so. Dark, D-A-R-Q. It's the one I uploaded to the Chris Pirillo Plays channel. That one. I remember the one where you did the fast food survey. I did a fast food survey? I don't even remember that. Yeah, unicorns are everywhere, that's for sure. My God. I cannot escape rainbows, unicorns. I've made a hard stance on no glitter. No glitter in this house. No glitter. I'm not once you just can't. It's like, it's my sand. It's my version of sand. It gets everywhere. It's rough, it's coarse, gets everywhere. That was an Anakin quote. Okay, everybody, thank you for tuning in. I'm off to eat some spaghetti tacos. Maybe. No, we did have spaghetti tonight. How'd you know? Thank you. I will possibly... I will be going... I'll be doing TLDR tomorrow, live again. Maybe we'll do another AMA. This was pretty easy. It was far less stressful than trying to come up with a topic. Yeah. None of the Twilight movies. That's going to come when she's a tween, I guarantee. Oh, yeah. Why you sing Game of Thrones? Yeah. Yeah. No. Thrones. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Freaking Game of Thrones. Freaking Game of Thrones. Freaking Game of Thrones. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Yeah. Game of Thrones. Like, that was a song. It was like someone uploaded that video to YouTube and it was like stuck in my head. I'm like, yeah. Because it fit. It just worked so well. I don't know who did, like, if you look up Game of Thrones, yeah, on YouTube, I bet you anything that's the video. Hang on, I'm not going to actually play it, but Game of Thrones, yeah, song. Yeah, see, yeah. Not safe for work, but it is the #1 hit for Game of Thrones, yeah, song. Not safe for work. But that's where I got it from. It was like someone had said it where I'm like, oh man, that's what Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, yeah, Game of Thrones, freaking Game of Thrones. They didn't say frickin'. I'm just gonna say it. I'll go that far. It's so like, oh man, oh, oh yeah, memory lane. Game of Thrones. Well, okay. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I'll see you tomorrow, TLDR. Of course, you're more than welcome to join us in Discord chat, which is open 24/7. HTTPS. There. That should hyperlink. Baby Shark. No, Jedi almost asked for Baby Shark in the car today, and I'm like, is there any other song? How about we listen to Mr. Roboto? Trying to get her into the classic rock, thing. The only thing stuck in your head is the music, the first Leo. Yeah, that was fun. I used to do Christmas songs every year. I will tell you this. For Intel graphics, I've got some holiday parodies coming up for Intel graphics. So keep your eye out. And I said, I thought they were just going to be tweets. They were like, no. You have to do the video. I'm like, are you kidding me? So I'm going to be actually singing holiday parody songs for Intel graphics. I'm just telling you that. I mean, it's not going to spoil it, but it's going to be fun. So, bye. You've still not seen Game of Thrones The Matt Geek? Come on, you're killing me. Call yourself a geek. You cannot call yourself a geek. That's like a geeky thing. Fantasy's a geeky thing. Okay. I can't. I'm not the gatekeeper. I'm just saying. Okay, Mac geek. I get it. You're just that kind of geek. Blue Vista. That was a good one. I'll have a Blue Vista. That's still out there too. Hang on. Blue Vista. Pirillo. I wonder if that'll. Whoa. Yeah. It's still there. 2007. Hang on.
Thank you.
25,000 views. That's hilarious. Yeah. Wow, it's still there. Recorded live. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Blue Vista. I'll have a blue. I used the, what was it? The MIDI, and then it sang over it. Yeah, it was fun. Okay. You made a video? That's awesome. I remember half this stuff, and then I'm just like, I tuned the rest of it out. Oh, the glory days when nobody else was streaming online. Okay, thank you, everybody. I love you. I appreciate you. At this point, I'm going to leave you to your own devices. May the force be with you always. Why did I channel Bobcat Goldthwait all of a sudden?